Hey there. Today I want to take a look at the recent artist edition from IDW for David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year One. This book is massive, so I've kind of had to change my setup here a little bit with the camera and everything. So my setup's a little more precarious than usual here. So hopefully the video's not too wobbly. There's probably going to be some wobble though. But yeah, I'm trying my best to get the whole thing here on camera. Again, I'm usually dealing with comic books, that are way smaller, so I kind of had to readjust things here. So hopefully that's not too bad on your end. But I really wanted to take a look at this book. I just, got this in. It's kind of like this long-awaited version of this book. And to kind of give you an idea of how big this is, we're going to break out the tape measure here, see what the actual tail of the tape is here. So we are at about 21 and a half, or 21 and a quarter inches tall by, about 14 and 3/4 wide. So yeah, this is definitely a big boy book. For comparison, here, let's just throw on this recent. So here's an actual modern comic book size. So that's kind of what we're talking about here as far as the proportions of this book. So in case you're not aware, artist editions are collections of comic book art, and they take the actual original artwork and scan it in, and they print it in color. It kind of looks black and white because that's how the art is produced, but it's a great method to kind of see the process, what the artist did. So if you're wondering, like these, stains on the book here, that's all intentional. That is, what is on the actual page of art here. I'm not sure how much of this is going to show up on video. Hopefully a lot. But you can see on Batman's leg here, there's a lot of, whiteouts, a lot of white media. Got some thicker black lines going on here. So it looks like that was something that he redrew while he was working on it. And that's kind of the insight you get with these books. Now, this is the first one I've ever bought. They've done several of these over the years, but they're all pretty pricey. And this one, the retail on this cover price is $150. So I got mine cheaper because I pre-ordered through a discount comic book service. It's too late to pre-order. It's out now. But, it's something to kind of keep in mind when books like this are coming out. Again, $150, a steep tag for a book. I get that. That's why I pre-ordered it, because I didn't want to pay that much. But, it's hard to argue that this book isn't worth that. There's, just a great look at Mazzucchelli's process here. And let's kind of get into it a little bit here, if I can, without knocking everything down. Oh boy. So yeah, this is a massive book when you open it up. To really read this, you kind of do need a table. This isn't something you can really hold in your lap and read in your recliner necessarily, I guess, if you tried hard enough. But yeah, just this nice big, tome of Year One. And we see down here in the kind of credits, we've got Chip Kidd as the designer. He's a great graphic designer, so that's partly why this book looks so good. We have a big intro here from Mazzucchelli. And then we get into some preliminary art studies here that he did, when he was designing everything for the book. And we've seen some of this stuff reprinted in other Year One collections, but we've never seen it at this size. The actual size it was drawn and everything. And even here in this, I want to say this was like a house ad for DC, like maybe on a letters page or something. And you can kind of see some white media in here. I'm not sure if that's maybe some paint. It almost could be like some white Conte crayon or some gesso. Maybe even he even could have been playing around with whiteout on that. Here we see the last page of the collections. Again, this wasn't in the original story, but this has become kind of an iconic image associated with Year One, even though it wasn't in the original story. So then, there's some pencil work kind of throughout here too. Kind of showing page layouts and fun stuff like that. Just really kind of taking you through the process of creating this book. We've got the iconic cover to issue 404 here. And this is probably easier to see here, but, you know, again, we're talking mid-80s. This is before computer lettering. So, you know, this stuff was cut out and pasted onto the actual page. So that's how, you know, comics used to be made. And that's the nice thing, too, about seeing the original pages, is you can see kind of the notes. You kind of see the tape on for the registration marks for the printing and different things throughout. But yeah, the other thing I really like about this is, again, I talked a couple days ago about the Dark Knight Returns and War edition, and we don't have one for year one. The only thing I could find is I think they maybe did one in Germany, and I did think about tracking that down before. But this works great as a black and white version of Batman Year One. Yeah, like Mazzucchelli's art works so well in black and white, and I knew it would. I mean, just from reading the story, you could see how heavy he went on the ink. That's really why I wanted to pick this one up. And seeing his art at this size is just really nice. It's really instructional for an artist. And again, I don't know... I doubt this is showing up on video, but it's like, these aren't just flat blacks. You know, this is all done by hand. This isn't like digital coloring where you just click an area and make it like 100% black. Like even these all black squares here, you can see brush strokes in here. You can see varying degrees of the shade of black through here. So it really kind of gives you an idea of, you know, yeah, like all these black borders here were done by hand, you can tell. Just like the time that was put into this, you know. It's not just someone clicking on a laptop. So yeah, and really fun stuff. And, you know, Mazzucchelli has a really bold style that, you know, blowing it up to this size, or, you know, some of it just printing it at actual size, just really lets you see the detail he's put. It almost goes to abstraction with this book in some areas. Here we have like this nice transparent overlay. And again, kind of gives you more of an idea of the printing processes back then. I will say, too, the other nice thing about these is, since this is in color, you do have the light blue markings on here. And that is something that would not reproduce in traditional printing techniques. So those were sort of notes and things that were put on the page that weren't meant to be printed in the actual comic. So you see like all that at the top of the art pages from DC. You know, like that won't print in the regular old school CMYK printing. But yeah, it's just, this is a monster of a book. And it's a great way to see Mazzucchelli's art. You know, and this is Frank Miller's story too, but this is really kind of about the art. And, you know, the great thing about this is, you know, you do have all the lettering on here. I'm not sure if that was all still paste ups, because you'll see with original art over the years, like some of that stuff, the glue will come loose and that stuff will fall off. And so it's like, I don't know if that was recreated for this. Like this here, this May 20th, you could easily see that that's a paste up. But the text doesn't quite look like that. You know, there's some white out there, so that looks legit. But I don't know if all the lettering survived that well. I gotta think there were some areas they had to go back and adjust, but again, I don't know. Yeah, all this black here, you could tell, you could see the brush strokes through here. It's not just a flat black like it would be when it's printed on the comic page. So yeah, this is real nice. Yeah, so here you can see this line here. This looks like glue or something was pasted up and came off. And yeah, so it is kind of deceptive, just the way the art's created, where this does look black and white, but, you know, technically this is printed in full color. So you can see all the glue marks from the registration marks on the pages and that kind of thing. But yeah, this is just, yeah, this is just amazing. Yeah, okay, so yeah, speaking of glue, so you can kind of see on this cover here, where this probably would have been where the title was pasted up and came off, and we've got, you know, some glue residue here on the box for the for the barcode in here. Yeah, and if you see up here, we've got DC Comics Sparta. Sparta, Illinois was where a lot of comics were printed for quite a while, up until maybe 20, 25 years ago. If you've been to Southern Illinois, every now and then you'll see comic books that have complimentary copies stamped on them, and that was ones that the workers were allowed to take home. It was basically like they got free comics, but they had to have that stamp on them. The other nice thing about this cover, you could see the beams of light coming off the flashlights are definitely a white media. Again, I'm not sure if he's playing with white out here. That's almost what it looks like, but we definitely got like some kind of dry brush look, so this could be some kind of paint. Yeah, so that's kind of the biggest flaw with this book, I would say, is I almost want commentary with this. I would definitely want some more notes from Mazzuchelli, kind of going through what the process was, some more details on his mark making, and that kind of thing. This is just a great book, though, and it's like, even if maybe if they did a video they put online or something where he's just kind of talking about the process, would be great. I would really, this is a great look at this book. But yeah, I would really go for some more detail on what he was, thinking when he did this stuff. Another nice thing, like this being in black and white, we see a lot of depth here with the helicopter. And again, that's all Mazzuchelli. We've got the buildings in the foreground here in shadow. We've got the rubble here from the building kind of breaking it up. But yeah, it really makes the helicopter stand out, which I feel like on the old, kind of flatter color and newsprint, I feel like that kind of dulls that a little bit. But I feel like this black and white version really brings that out. And yeah, in this shot here of Batman, which I'm not sure if it's showing up, we've got almost like a woodcut kind of shading he's doing there with that, which I don't really associate with Mazzuchelli, to that extent. But yeah, so, you can read all this. It still has all the lettering and everything. This might be how I read this story from now on. Again, I've wanted a Batman Noir version of this for a while. I really like that series. Oh, just to go back to here real quick, too, with this cat jumping out in front of Batman when the police are coming down the stairs, you could see a lot of whiteout on the body of the cat here. So a cat jumping at that angle, I'm going to bet Mazzuchelli probably had to redraw that. I don't see, why else there would be that much white media on there. Looking at it in black and white, that is supposed to be white. You're not supposed to see that. So, yeah, I bet he probably struggled with that cat, which is understandable. And that's the nice thing, too, about seeing art at this size, too. As an artist, when you look at, someone's comic art all the time, it's shrunk down. That's the process. And some guys whose art just look perfect, it can be infuriating. But then when you see it at actual size, you can see the flaws in it. You can see the defects. You can, especially an artist edition like this, you could see, sort of the mistakes they made that, everybody does. So it makes you feel a little better about yourself as an artist. And, it helps you learn from these guys. But yeah, so we have this rainy scene here in the Hopper Diner. And it looks like there's some white media, but a lot of it is just almost looks like marker kind of going through here. Now, a lot of guys will do that kind of old school thing of just putting black on and then hitting it with a razor blade, which I've never had the balls to do that. But, it looks like he's just doing some mark making here and then going over with some white media here. But yeah, this is just a really good look at the artwork here. And again, more behind the scenes sort of things. We got all these page layouts kind of in between the issues here. And again, it would almost... I know this is focusing on Mazzucchelli's artwork, but I could almost feel like you could put Miller's script in here too. Just so you can kind of get more out of the layout pages. And just kind of see Mazzucchelli's process and translating that to the page. So yeah, okay, so here's the other thing. So Commissioner Loeb, in the story has a office full of like sort of pop culture trinkets and tchotchkes and things. And even in black and white, like I could still tell that's a Charlie Brown lamp that he has there on his desk and that kind of thing. And then, you know, you could see the name on the desk there. Or on the door, I mean. You know, that's like a piece of lettering that's been statted on there. But yeah, just really, you know, and again, seeing Mazzucchelli's naturalistic way that he draws people in clothing, it almost makes Batman look like the odd man out in this story. Just because, you know, he's looks so different, and, you know, people have compared his version to Adam West and that kind of thing, but I think it is also like the best version of Adam West, like what Adam West was actually trying to portray. You know, a guy in, you know, a bodysuit running around in a mask, but still, you know, really aggressive. So yeah, and yeah, just like the blocking of the black there on the bridge, and just the way the blacks are spotted here throughout. And again, you see a lot of, like, again, going back to my Dark Knight Returns More video, a lot of Batman artists are really good at spotting black. I feel like that's almost a requirement for doing a good Batman story. Yeah, now here's, you know, some other designs that were done for collections of Year One. We have this painting here. And it's like, this just shows kind of Mazzucchelli's influence, because, you know, they redesigned the costume for this. And basically until, when was it? Maybe 2000. So you're talking about like mid-80s to 2000, about 15 years there, where Batman was still wearing the sort of traditional gray and blue and like the capsule utility belt. But it seems like every chance an artist got, they would put Batman in the gray and black with the pouch belt, which comes from here, which comes from this story. And like even this here cover, like, you could have told me that was Darwin Cook. That could be Michael Cho. You know, there's so many artists. Maybe Jay Bone even a little bit, you know, in here. I just feel like there's so many artists who have, you know, been influenced by Mazzucchelli here. And, you know, so many guys that work at DC have, you know, done a similar style to this. And again, I'm not saying anyone's ripping anyone off. It's just, it looks great. You know, like, what do you got to do when somebody makes something that looks so good? Yeah, here we have another overlay. So it looks like this was a Commissioner Gordon page for an issue of Who's Who. I probably have this, but I don't remember this. I have to go back and check out Who's Who to find the printed version of this. Again, I haven't read that in so long. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this was a house ad too. Like, there would have been text off to the side here for this. But yeah, just great mark making here, and it you know, when you blow it up this big, it still works too. You know, you're talking something that was probably like that big originally in a comic book. So yeah, like this kind of page here is kind of really what I wanted. This, like, you could see really, and again, this is blown up, but like you could see real thick brush strokes here. The ink is real wet on this page. You could tell when he did this. Yeah, this is like why I really had to pick this one up. You know, you can kind of see some corrections here. Yeah, and then the back. We've got the back cover here too. Again, another collection cover. But yeah, this is a great book. I can't recommend this enough. If you want to get it, hopefully you did. Hopefully you were able to pre-order it at a good price. But yeah, this is a great book. It's gigantic though. Like, I don't know where I'm going to keep this. I might just have to put it back in a box it shipped in and keep it in the closet or something. But yeah, I kind of feel like when I want to read Year One now, it'll be this version of it. You know, I know there's like the Absolute Edition, and there's various hardcovers and trades they've done over the years of this, but this is something. This is a really nice copy. Yeah. And again, I might have to take a look at some more artist editions out there and things like that. But yeah, this is definitely one worth checking out. If you like Batman, if you like Year One, if you've never read Year One, this might be a little too much, this might be jumping in the deep end with this story, but it's good. It's definitely a great way to read the story. I'm glad they, were able to maintain the lettering and everything in it so it can be read. But yeah, it's just a great sort of breakdown of the art and the artistic process of this book. Yeah, so did you get this? Do you get artist editions? Let me know in the comments below. Again, I'm continuing Batman Week until Batman Day, so we've got another video coming tomorrow. So be sure to check back and see that, and thanks for watching. If you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter/X @Detective651, also on Instagram @Detective651. Be sure to check out my t-shirt store at tpublic.com/user/Detective651. I've got a lot of nerdy designs on there, and there's sales all the time, so check it out frequently.